Hello, welcome to my podcast. The aim of this podcast is to discuss the impact of podcasting at the University of Oxford, using the case study by Jean, Marshall and Wilson. Since 2005, individual departments at the university have been responsible for their podcasting. There was no coordinated effort to offer them from a single location. In 2008, the University of Oxford accepted Apple's invite to join iTunes U, an educational podcasting platform. The Oxford University Computing Services formed a team to develop and implement a new system called Oxy Items. This system allowed staff to add podcasts to a queue for the team to assess and establish agreements before releasing them to iTunes. The podcasting team has enabled contributors to create and share materials in open formats. They have developed open platforms for publication so that no one is excluded from accessing the podcast. They have designed legal sign-offs to encourage the production of podcasts. In October 2008, the University of Oxford launched its iTunes U channel. The devolved model was causing problems with the podcasting team. The team was not in direct contact with the contributors. As a result, there were delays and miscommunications. The podcasts were hosted on different web servers. This made the recording of access data from different web servers impractical. However, the team has changed its policy so that in future, all material published through the university's portals will be hosted centrally. In 2009, the podcasting team got funding for the Open Spires project. The project focused on making Oxford's podcasts available as open content resources. This allowed publication on all platforms for reuse. It also focused on developing technology that supports open formats and tracks users. From October 2010 to March 2011, the Listening for Impact project helped the team complete a survey to explore the impact and use of Oxford's podcasts. They helped the team to develop a stats tool to process log files and generate reports on the impact of Oxford's podcasts. The project endorsed changes in Oxford's podcasting portal and its virtual learning environment so that podcast resources could be integrated into the teaching and learning virtual environments at Oxford. The survey showed that the global audience of learners are inspired, engaged, motivated by Oxford's podcasts. The survey showed that the podcasts are motivating distant learners, helping teachers in their professional development, giving people control over their learning. In October 2010, the team surveyed students and academics on the podcasting service at Oxford University. Feedback from the survey had highlighted that the Oxford's podcasting portal's search functionality was poor. The system lacked an individual landing page for each podcast series. It was difficult to integrate podcasts into WebLearn, Oxford's virtual learning environment. In order to facilitate the integration of podcasting within WebLearn, the team decided to develop a new tool. The new podcast tool allows a user to browse and search for relevant podcasts, allows the podcast to be embedded into the WebLearn site, allows the user to play the podcast directly in WebLearn. The increasing global popularity of Oxford's podcast is attributed to Apple's marketing activities and engineering works. Apple has made the portal to the iTunes Store more accessible to the general web user. As a result of Apple's promotional activities, Oxford's podcasts experience high level of interest and access. However, Oxford's association with Apple iTunes creates enormous log files which take time for the team to process. Oxford's devolved nature makes it impractical to combine reports from Apple with the team's own reports. Apple decides which podcasts it wishes to promote on the iTunes U landing page without direct communication with the podcast team. The case study recommends that the podcasting team adopts a continual central evaluation process, continues the development of the stats tool, improves reporting interface, should promote other social media channels such as Twitter, supply a survey template to allow academics gather feedback from their students and promote the awareness of podcasts. Thank you for listening to my podcast.